May 2016. The second city of Australia, Melbourne. 6 people from widely different walks of life regain consciousness in a frozen meat locker. Who are they? Why are they here? And why are they no longer human? Welcome to War for the Second City, a Vampire the Masquerade actual play podcast presented by DM Fiat, with me, Dale, as storyteller. They're all around you. So, welcome everyone. This will be our first session of Vampire the Masquerade, War for the Second...
Are we recording already? I want to get out all my swears beforehand.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was a bit. I'm not going to... saving it for the game.
So, welcome to our first session of Vampire the Masquerade, War for the Second City. This episode is entitled New Blood, Part 1, and it's going to be short because we had our character creation, but we'll at least get the feel for our characters, get a taste of the world, and get into it. So, because of the nature of this game, I do want to issue a warning before we begin. Vampire the Masquerade is a dark game of personal horror. You'll hear descriptions of gore, depravity, addiction, coercion, and other serious themes. This is not D&D. This is a game where we play monsters of the night who do monstrous things. If at any time you feel uncomfortable with a scene or topic depicted in the game, please say X card. As the storyteller, we'll wrap up the scene as quickly as possible. If the scene contains plot-relevant information, I'll simply summarise the important details and move on. So, let's get into it. The embrace. There is no fear as your life is fading away. You feel an unexpected comfort in the arms of the being that is taking your life. You experience a surprising calm as it all disappears. Drop by drop, it takes your fears, your worries, your dreams, your joy. Then your conscience vanishes and all that's left is blackness. You open your eyes. There is a lingering feeling that something is missing, but something else immediately overrides it. It is an electric purr that stirs your senses awake. Coming back from death is slow. You feel sluggish as you become aware of the room you are in, the company you share. Above and around you are slow, swinging hunks of meat, like the bodies of that deathly migration. Beside you are others, also escaping death's shore. An urge, more pressing, more acute. As you begin to sit up, you feel it for the first time, the hunger. And you know, somehow, as you experience the terrible pangs of this hunger, that you are no longer human. would like everybody to please set their hunger at 3 on their character sheet. And now, as the blood stirs, begins to pump through your body, and as the blood animates you, I'd like to teach you all how to do a rouse check. Every vampire, when they awaken for the night, makes a rouse check as they will their blood to animate them. So how we do this is you roll a single D10. On a 6 or above, the rouse check passes and your hunger remains the same. If not, it is a failure and you increase your hunger by 1. So as you all awaken, please go ahead, roll a D10.
I don't know how to use the lucky dice thing. Am
yes.
I allowed to just use my phone?
You can use your phone if you've got... The lucky dice is just there for anyone who doesn't have any other alternative.
Also, I can't see your little camera thing. It's all like little blue dots are like swirling on your screen.
Huh. I can see myself. Hopefully it'll clear up.
You're there to me.
It's been like that for a while. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with my thing.
I think it's on your end. I can
Probably
see
an internet-related thing.
You dropped out a couple of times for me.
Ah, right. Yeah. It's the internet. It's Australian internet. It's going to do that.
Fair enough.
So if it's a fail, you increase your hunger by 1.
Yep.
What's a failure and what's a success?
So if the D10 is 6 or above, that is a pass, and your hunger remains at 3. If it is below 6, you've failed the rouse check, and you awaken hungrier. Increase your hunger to 4.
I passed.
Same here.
Okay.
Lovely.
Hey,
So-
good luck. We all had good luck.
So everyone stayed at hunger 3. Lovely.
Except
No, I didn't.
Except Enigma. So your
We're
hunger
all
is at
silently
4.
judging you.
So, even as you all sit still in this cold, quiet room, and you start making out the shapes around you, you feel your first pang of hunger. It is different from any hunger you have ever felt. Like a person starving to death who suddenly smells food. You sense the blood, and you know that it will ease this terrible, hollow pain inside you. How will you deal with your first hunger? You smell blood and recognize it as exactly that. The rusty aroma reaches out to you, sweet and tempting. Your eyes fall upon the meat hooks that decorate the room, searching for the choice meal you are craving. There are whole animal carcasses hanging from the hooks. Pork, cattle, and yet your gaze locks onto a piece hung in the middle of the room. A brunette mop of hair dangles upside down, together with the stark realization of what your body craves. The corpse of a man wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt. You understand that there's more to this room, but right now you can only focus on him. For all of you except Enigma, first you were drowsy from waking, but now the blood smell has snapped you into focus. You feel your first hunger significantly. Maybe just a small sip from the dead body would ease this newfound desire. Maybe the animals could give you enough sustenance to carry on. You can resist it if you choose. Maybe it is a shame of defiling the dead, how the others in the room would see you, or the dread of drinking blood that holds you back. Maybe you just surrender to your hunger. Beggars can't be choosers. Enigma. Your hunger is colouring all of your thoughts, tainting everything you see, hear, and smell. You're beckoned by the fresh body offered to you. Its blood smells stale, but there's also a sweetness in it. You want to drink. What will these others think of you? That doesn't matter. What are you becoming? You may have to think about that later. Right now, feeding is what you want to do the most. So, let's begin your existence as the undead. I'm going to have each of you introduce your characters, and then you're going to describe whether you give in to these almost overwhelming urges. Let's go first with Lost Demiurge.
are we clothed?
You're clothed.
All right. You're seeing a woman who looks just a little off. She's wearing men's clothes that hang loosely on her. And there's something wrong with her face. Her proportions look a little too uncanny valley. And her voice, as she speaks... she's got fairly fine features. She's got brown hair tucked back in like a page boy cut. And her voice as she speaks is deep and husky. And definitely not feminine at all. Who are you?
Do we actively engage in this part?
You can.
Or do we just...
You can.
But that's what you see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Dadlin, did you want to do something?
Well, I'm
Fairly
assuming that I am probably the most physically striking of every person here.
Yes.
No? So apart from Enigma, who is kind of focused on something else, I'm assuming a lot of attention is drawn to me.
Well. As you all awaken, you all take a look at each other. And Mr. Dadlin, what do they see when they look at you?
So I am a fairly tall, large man. I guess what you would call a dad bod going on. But that I'm wearing khaki pants and a large sweater, argyle sweater. So clearly not the most fashionable man. But the thing that draws most of your attention is undoubtedly my face. Whereas the rest of you all look like people to the most extent. My character no longer has lips anymore. Where there once was lips, it has been completely removed to show large serrated teeth, particularly pointy at the front. His eyes are also no longer have any color. The pupil has covered the entire part where the color would be. Almost like like a cat when it's particularly zoomed. Also, my fingers have quite long with it pointed at the end, the nails as well. So even though I still look proportionally the same as quite a large human, I clearly look quite monstrous.
And you see
But
the
I
others...
also have a cheap haircut.
cheap haircut. You see the others recoiling away from you, and you're not sure why, but then you catch a glimpse of your reflection, murky in the sheen of the metal wall that you're propped up against, and do not recognise yourself. What has happened to you?
Yeah, I obviously recoil for a moment, a bit surprised, and I do that thing where you touch your face, like in the movies, and they're like, "Oh my god, is that me?" I'm just particularly shocked at what's happened to my mouth, and just how violent looking it is now. Almost like more like a dog or a crocodile's teeth.
Enigma. What do they see when they look at your character?
The complete opposite of what they were just looking at. As ugly as he is, I am the exact opposite, and I'm absolutely stunning. 6 foot tall, short crop brown hair, deep blue eyes. So yeah, anyone who's not looking at him might end up being looking at me. That's exact opposite.
Lovely. H. Quinn, what does your character look like?
All right, so you see what looks to be a younger woman, seems to be of East Asian descent, just wrapped in a simple coat, a bit shaken at the moment, longer dark hair just falling messily around her. She looks at the one with the messed up face and, are you all right? You've got a bit of a,
I'm not sure. My character is, I think, at this point, probably in shock.
Yeah,
Even
I think
though,
you
as
all
you're
are a
saying,
little bit.
we have this blood desire and all this whatnot clouding our minds, but my character is still just far more concerned with what's happened to him.
What he
and
looks
any hunger
like.
in his stomach. Yeah.
Paradox Mimic, what does your character look like?
So it's just sort of like mid-20s, late 30s man. rather sort of average build, not fit but not unfit. I'll try to describe it, but then if there's somewhere I can post pictures, I will.
Yeah, just stick them in the art channel or in the general channel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an art channel. Cool.
Cool. So yeah, with long hair that drapes down the right side of their head, but with the left side shaved down. I can't remember what you call that. Yeah.
Parted to one side. Yep.
Yeah, wearing a nicely. Well, it was before all this, but yeah, nice sort of like a nice button-up shirt with a pale blue vest over it and a sort of a bit darker blue tie. Which sort of, as he somewhat comes to, it's just sort of, who are you people? And as he sees, who was playing the
Mr.
Nosferatu
Dadlin.
again, sorry?
Mr. Dadlin's
Yeah,
character.
It's like, where are we? Who are we? And then, what are you?
I'm a bureaucratic type person. I can't remember what my title is. What is my job technically?
You're a community outreach person. I'm just calling you community outreach person because I don't know what the title is myself.
Yeah, hang on. I'm whatever that is.
You're a civil servant of some description.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I'm just a civil servant without my face.
And finally, Shay. What do they see when they gaze upon your character?
So young looking, early 20s, kind of wearing black, like a black. Sorry, my brain's not functioning today.
Goth.
Not goth. I'm not going with goth. I'm going with like artistic, like art students kind of a thing. So she's wearing like a black sweater and like denim jeans that are like paint splattered and stuff like that. Like long auburn red hair and like blue eyes, freckles.
Sophisticated, vaguely hipstery.
Yeah, a little bit hipster, a little bit like you can tell this is a uni art student or something.
So, you're all obviously from different walks of life, and there's a million questions running through your head. What are your names? Why are you here? Why you? What do you all have in common? But right now, your thoughts are devoted to this strange, almost all-encompassing hunger that has welled up inside you, and you see the animal carcasses hanging on the hooks. You see the corpse of the man in the t-shirt and jeans swinging upside down, equally distant between each of you. You all glance at each other, almost as if waiting to see who will act first. Who's going to resist the call, and who's going to give in?
I'm going to give in.
Yep. Anyone else?
I mean, in what capacity?
Well,
At least
you've got hunger 3, so you don't want to, leap upon it and drain it dry, but the hunger is urging you, just bite into it, suck some of the blood out and just taste it.
I pull my turtleneck closer around me and I go up to one of the animal carcasses. At least they're not making us have to eat people this time.
What?
And you bite into it.
Just what? What do you mean eat people? No,
Just finding good choices.
You try to resist. So those of you who are trying to resist would ask you to please make a willpower roll. So this is you take your willpower, roll that number of dice. And 6 or above on any of the dice is a success.
That was my willpower.
Yep.
Yeah, so I have willpower 4, so that means I roll 4
4 dice, yep.
That's 4 dice.
I got 2 successes.
2 successes.
I received 3 successes.
3 successes. Paradox and
Had a
Shay,
lot
how
of
did you do?
willpower.
It was success was a what and above?
6 or above.
Okay, that's 3 successes.
3, yep.
I have 1 success.
So,
And if it means anything, one of them was a 1.
ooh, okay. Well, that cancels it out. So that means you got no successes. So when you roll in the dice pool, a 1 is a botch, and it will cancel out a success.
Are you going with that rule? Ooh, okay.
Does
Should
it
I?
cancel any success, or does it
then I-
cancel 1 success?
Cancels 1 success.
Okay, so I have 2 successes instead of 3.
Yeah. Well,
I
actually,
still have 3 successes.
we'll err on the side of caution for now, and we'll say it only happens if you have more than 1. A single 1 on its own won't do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Well,
it. So,
otherwise, that might be a little hard if you're
Yeah.
rolling a lot of dice. The odds
So-
are quite stacked against you.
so Mr.
one success
Dadlin, H. Quinn, Paradox, and Shay, you wrap your arms tightly around yourselves and press against this cold wall that you're seated up against, trying to resist the urge. You don't want to degrade yourself by biting into either this animal meat or this corpse. You're not a savage, you're not some beast. And yet you see Lost Demiurge lean forwards and bite into one of the hanging pieces of meat, while Enigma sort of lunges off his feet, leaps towards the hanging corpse, and nearly grapples it off the meat hook as he sinks his teeth into its neck.
I would like to try to intervene on that. Am I allowed to do that?
You can.
My character, tries to separate them. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Alright, I'd like you to please roll for me a strength athletics check, and then I will ask Enigma to also roll one, and we will compare the number of successes.
I have 3 successes.
And plus athletics. This ain't gonna go well.
3 successes.
That was 2 successes.
So,
I only rolled 2 dice, so
yep, you only rolled 2 dice, so
That means I win, right?
So as Enigma begins to sink his teeth into the corpse, Mr. Dadlin, you rush forwards, you wrap your arms around him and pull him away, and he sort of turns at you and gives you an almost bestial snarl. Ah! As you pull him off the corpse and drag him back down, and Enigma, that brief moment that you were able to sink your teeth into the corpse, and this goes for you as well, Lost Demiurge. You felt the blood rolling down your throat, and there was something about it that was very sweet, almost like aged wine, and yet it was dead blood, stale, and the small amount that trickles down your throat does little to sate the hunger. And so you withdraw, crouch down, kneeling on the floor, and try your best to force away this urge. You look around, looking at the others, feeling somewhat embarrassed. You acted like an animal, and for nothing, that terrible hunger still gnaws at your insides. But at the very least now, you've indulged in it enough that you're able to regain control of your faculties. And so you look at one another and tell each other your names. Lost Demiurge.
I'm sorry. I'm Hope. Yes, you can call me Hope.
Mr. Dadlin.
I don't know if I'm still holding on to Enigma, but
You've lowered him back down. He's struggled
he's
for
no
a bit.
longer frothing at the mouth for the corpse.
He seems to have regained control of his faculties, but you see him his eyes still sort of linger fixed on the corpse.
I'm still at hunger 4, though, aren't I?
Still at hunger 4, yes. It did not decrease your hunger. This blood was stale, almost tasteless.
I step between him and the corpse, and I'm like, my name's Desmond. Don't know what's going on here. Is this sore or something?
Enigma, do you respond with your own name?
Is there a chance that they may know me, anyways?
What level of fame do you have? How many dots?
1.
1. So I would like everybody to please roll an intelligence and either politics or technology check.
Hang on, what is he? He's a YouTuber, right?
He's a YouTuber. Yep.
What is the brand of thing that you do on YouTube?
I debunk conspiracy theorists and flat earthers and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So politics or technology would be the appropriate skills, I think.
Okay, so politics or technology, did you say, is what
Yep,
we're rolling?
plus intelligence.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is 1.
I got 1 success.
So Desmond knows who he is.
2 successes
One
here.
success.
Oh, hey!
Oh, I crit succeeded.
You crit succeeded, so you are evidently one of his key subscribers.
You like and subscribe.
What's his crit success?
So a crit success is if you get a 10 on one of your die. If you get 10 on at least 2 of your dice, they explode and turn into another success. So those
Yeah.
2
okay.
10s become an additional success. So those 2 successes become 3.
So I got a 3, a 5, a 9, and a 10
Yeah.
for my 4 dice.
So you know. So you
I also have a point in fame as well, by the way.
You do. You do have a point in fame. So we'll get to you in a moment. But so you gaze upon Enigma and stare at him, and it's hard to see at first in this dim fluorescent light of this small cold room, but the longer you stare at him, and once you discount the trickle of blood that rolls down from his bottom lip, you recognize him. You've seen his face before in YouTube videos, ranting, debunking conspiracy theorists, putting flat earthers in their place. What is your name, Enigma? Who do they recognize you as?
They would probably know me about my YouTube, the Clear Dusty.
Clear Dusty.
Should we write these down, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, if you want, you can.
Did the monsters get you too? The monsters got you too?
So you recognize him as the YouTuber, the Clear Dusty. You've all seen at least one of his videos. He's almost Melbourne's most famous YouTuber, at least in the politics sphere. You don't agree with 100% of what he says, but at the very least you find his videos entertaining. Even
Well,
if
let's not go too far.
You agree if you're not an idiot, that's for sure.
even if
I may have heard of him, but that doesn't mean I like him.
yeah, well, you've all seen at least one of his videos, and he has a reputation for being entertaining. Maybe sometimes he might say something that's a little bit off colour, but you can always depend on his videos being fun to watch as he takes apart conspiracy theories and really bizarre political ideologies thread by thread in a very, very amusing way. H. Quinn, do you tell everybody who you are?
Yep. I'm Sylvia, I guess. You're that YouTuber, aren't you? What are you doing here?
Just unlucky, I guess. Or lucky, I'm not sure yet.
For all you know, one of the targets of your most recent video was really, really out to get you and has done something potentially very dangerous to you.
It's mostly bad, but there's some good, I think. I don't know.
Paradox Mimic. Who do you introduce yourself as?
I'm Derek, and I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah, seems to be the question on everyone's mind. Why am I here? So as we get to Shay, I would like everyone except Shay to please roll an intelligence and performance check. Or
if we don't have performance, it's you just don't
just
have
intelligence.
Yeah.
Ooh, success. I'm lucky at these rolls. I bet that's not going to continue for important stuff.
3 successes.
Yeah.
3 successes. So,
1 success.
as you gaze upon the last of your number, the young woman who so far has been quite quiet, sitting on her own in the corner of the room, you recognize her face. You've seen her before, if not in person, then at some function or event, perhaps at a live performance or at a showing of local artists at a local gallery. Shay, who are you?
So I am Dahlia Haynes of the Haynes family. We my parents are pretty well off and they donate a lot of money to a lot of places and do the big charity art events and everything like that. And I got into it through that and I like showing off my work because they pay for my gallery spaces so I can continue to put out my shows. I'm a sculptor, primarily.
And so, 2 people of your number are well known, famous. The rest of you, not so famous, but influential in your own fields, and yet there seems to be nothing in common amongst you. All these disparate people from all these different walks of life. Why are you here? That is the question. And so, as you start to stand up, climb to your feet, and attempt to take stock of the situation in this cramped, cold, almost freezing cold room, what would you like to do?
Does anyone have a scarf or something I could borrow?
Is there, were we laying on beds or something?
No, you're just on a cold floor propped up against a wall.
Hang on. I turn my back to the others, strip off the turtleneck, strip off an undershirt, put the turtleneck back on, and offer you the undershirt. It's not very clean. I'm sorry.
That'll do. I get the feeling this will probably scare anyone else as well. And I wrap it around my mouth part. So
it's a makeshift scarf.
Yeah, so it looks slightly less off-putting. I have also not the biggest fan of seeing it myself yet.
The strange distortions of your jaw are still visible, at least the shape of them under the mask, but without peering under the mask, it could look just as if you have some horrible deformity. So we'll do a group check now. This is where we all roll, and I count the number of successes between you to determine whether you succeed. Would like everybody to make a wits awareness check. And this will be the first check to involve your hunger. So how this works is you substitute a number of dice in your pool with hunger dice equal to your hunger. Usually this is done by just substituting them with a number of differently coloured dice, but if you don't have that, you can just roll the 2 pools separately. So you can do your non-hunger die first, and then your hunger die.
Okay.
So if I've got like a dice pool of 6 and a hunger of 4, so I roll 2 dice.
2 dice and then 4 dice, yep.
With plus
Okay.
1.
Yep.
So, and then what do we give you the results for?
So wits awareness, and just tell me, so your hunger die will only come into play if you get a critical success or a botch, and at least 110 or 1-1 is on your hunger die. That will mean that your beast that lurks within you, your vampiric urges have gotten the better of you and will cause you to either pass or fail in dramatic fashion.
Alright, so I'll just go what I've got in here. So the wits and awareness dice that I rolled, I got 2 successes and 1 1.
Yep.
For the hunger dice, I got 1 success and 1 10.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. Nothing... Because you need at least 2 10s or 2 1s for it to count as a crit or a botch. So that's...
Okay, so I just, pass normally.
So that's 3 successes.
Yeah, so in my case, my wits awareness is I'm rolling 2 die, but my hunger is 3, so that just means
they're both just hunger die. Yep.
Yeah.
Because the 1 takes off that, so I got 3 successes. Okay, sorry. Still learning the rules.
Yep.
Yay.
Oh, don't worry about it, because you only got 1 1. Only take 1 off if it's 2 1s. So just say 10s and 1s only matter if there's more than one of them.
In that case, I got a total of 4 things.
4, yep. And...
no successes for me.
No successes.
No fails either.
No successes for Derek, okay.
Okay, so wits and awareness.
Wits and awareness.
With my hunger.
Yep.
So wits and awareness, I rolled really badly.
You rolled really badly, that's fine.
I rolled 2 1s, and 4 or 5 and a 9.
Okay, were any of those 1s on your hunger dice?
I haven't rolled. How do I roll my hunger dice?
So
that's just my wits and my awareness.
Oh, okay. So your hunger is 3. So 3 of those dice would have been hunger dice. So we'll say that they weren't on your hunger dice. So what you do from now on is when you do a check, substitute a number of dice in the dice pool for hunger dice. So if you don't have, normally how you're meant to do this is you're meant to have 2 dice of different colours to represent normal and hunger dice, but if you're just using random d10s, just roll 2 separate pools. So say your dice pool was 6 and you have 3 hunger, you'd roll 3 normal dice and then 3 hunger.
Okay, so that's what I do.
Yep.
So I have a dice pool of 5.
Yep. So you got a botch, you didn't get any successes.
Yeah.
Which leaves it to H, Quinn.
Just 1 success, nothing fancy.
It's 1 success. That's okay. As a group, you got enough to pass.
You didn't get mine. I got 5 successes total.
Oh, 5? Yeah, well, the group definitely passes then.
Yeah, so only 1 10, which was on a hunger dice, but it does matter because it wasn't 2, is that right?
Yeah. So it only matters if there's 2 of them, so...
Okay, cool.
Your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness and the poor lighting. Shapes of animal carcasses decorate your surroundings. The stench in the room is difficult to take for most of you. However, you quickly realise that you can hold your breath with no consequence. For a moment, you take in that breathing, something you took for granted and was so natural for all of your life, is now something you can choose to do, or in this case, choose not to do, and in doing so avoid the worst of the stench. The chains clank under the weight of the hanging meat, and you can see the still air clinging to the flesh. The visible fog partially manages to obscure your vision under the cold, hospital-like lighting, causing you to navigate the room carefully to avoid bumping into the adorned meat hooks. As you walk, you realise there are streaks of dried blood on the floor and small piles of rotten meat, which you can't identify as animal or human. There are also several hospital-like blood bags. They smell of blood, but they are definitely empty. As you reach the walls, you realise they are made of steel, partially covered in patches of frost. However, your skin doesn't stick to the walls if you try to touch them. Your body is no longer warm. There is a large metal door at the other end of the room, and perhaps, if you press your ear to it, you might be able to hear something on the other side. You realise that you are currently locked within a walk-in freezer. By who and why, you still don't know, but perhaps you can find a way out. What would you guys like to do?
Just a question,
Yep.
everyone.
Yeah.
Does anyone else not need to breathe?
Yeah. You're not alone.
Well, now that you mention it,
Yep, same for
Having-
me.
I'm having the opposite of that sensation when someone tells you you're now manually breathing.
Yes. Are we dead?
But more so, you can't feel the cold here.
Kind.
If I was wearing a sweater, I couldn't feel the cold. Oh, you're
Well,
right.
We're in a freezer though. Even with this sweater on, we should be able to feel the cold here.
So,
Yeah, when you press against the walls and the floor and the hanging meat, you can feel that they are freezing cold, but your bodies do not appear to be feeling this cold. When you touch your own skin, you feel that your skin is deathly cold, and yet you yourself cannot feel within your body that you are freezing.
Hey, Hope, was it? Just earlier, I don't know if I misheard, but you said something, didn't you? Do you know what's going on here?
Not really. I have had a really weird day. Couple of days. I don't know.
would you like to clarify that? Weird as in meat hooks, or weird as in what?
So I got attacked, and it's really hard to believe. Okay.
Well, I believe we might be inclined to listen to you. I kind of pointed my weird mouth.
I woke up in a grave full of screaming, moving bodies, and there was blood in my mouth. And when I got out, there were a bunch of guys with shovels all standing around laughing about fresh meat.
Okay, well, that certainly is weird. What did you do then?
I ran like fuck.
Understandable, okay.
Yes, but after the running, did you run into here, or what? Where does anyone else remember?
No, they didn't take my plane ticket. So I took my flight.
And then you woke up here.
It's a little weird. I think I passed out in the bathroom.
Hope, your
And
flashes of memory surge through your brain. You remember leaving your tattoo parlor just before midnight. You remember being attacked. You remember awakening as you recount, and the desperate flight, the desperate escape, knowing that you were due to meet with a friend in Melbourne in the coming days. You boarded your flight as if nothing had happened, spent the 18 hours hunched over in the aeroplane bathroom, drifting in and out of consciousness. And when you awakened, you were different. You barely got to step off the plane. The last thing you remember is alarm bells going off, men in suits surrounding you, holding you at gunpoint. "Another one!" shouts one of the men. "Lock her in with the rest!"
Is that a memory, or is that happening now?
That's his. That's Hope's memory. Just describing it for Hope.
Yeah.
so there were like X-Files guys at the airport, and they said lock her in with the rest.
Which means we were already here, or at least some of us.
Yeah, I'm guessing by the accents, Australia still?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Does anyone else remember anything? I'm gonna take that as a no.
Not yet, anyway.
Right, well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't want to stand here in a meat locker
You're trying to find a way out.
I'm going to go over to that big door.
Big door, yep. So as you approach the door, I'd like you to please make a wits and investigation check.
Okay.
Remember to add your hunger dice.
Everyone can do that if they're looking at it?
Yep,
Yeah,
everyone,
so
yep.
Do the hunger dice add or replace?
They replace.
Okay. I think I did it wrong before, but that's okay. I will do it right this time.
Investigation.
While they're doing that, can I go over to the blood bags? And do they look like standard hospital-issued blood bags?
So I'd like you to make an intelligence medicine check, please.
Okay.
I got 1 success.
1 success, and 2 for hope.
Investigation.
Yep. Okay, so the 3 of you who are examining the door, you notice that the inside handle of the freezer door seems to have been removed, leaving only a circular-shaped hole in the sheet of metal where it used to be. Someone has made sure that you cannot let yourself out, at least not by simply opening the door. Meanwhile,
I got 2 successes.
2 successes. So H. Quinn, you head over to the hospital bags that are stacked on a metal tray next to a hanging chunk of meat. And you pick them up, and you can smell traces of blood in each of them. But they're all empty. And one thing that you notice that is of interest to you is that these are not standard issue hospital bags. These are not the type of blood bags you would find at a blood bank or a hospital. They're of an incorrect size, and there does not appear to be an easy way to hook them up to an IV or to insert a hypodermic needle. Rather, they're more like airtight Ziploc bags that are designed to hold an amount of blood and nothing more. They are unlabeled, and there's no identifying marks on them.
Okay, well that's weird. How's the door going?
Rule
Taking
out.
the handle.
Yeah, handle's missing.
As they've been checking over the door, can I look around for the it's a giant fridge, so I'm assuming there's a air vent or something
Yep.
the.
So I'd like you to make a wits investigation check, please, of your own.
Whoa, that's a massive pool of 1 die. This can only go well.
So here's where I'll introduce another mechanic. This is a good opportunity to introduce it. So as a vampire, you have the ability to blood surge, which means you call upon your blood to give you supernatural abilities. And how this is done is you make a rouse check, and then regardless of whether you pass or fail, you add an extra 2 dice to your pool.
Okay. For the sake of learning the rules, yeah, I'll do that.
So that will give you a pool of 3 to roll with.
Yeah, so rouse check is
Just a D10, 6 or above, your hunger stays the same. Otherwise, you gain a hunger.
Okay, yeah. So rouse check is a 7, so it's a success.
Success, yep. Hunger stays at 3.
So rouse checks are never a matter of something succeeding or failing. It's just a matter of whether you gain hunger or not.
Yeah. Whatever you do, if something requires a rouse check, the thing you're trying to do will still happen. You'll just either get hungrier or you won't get hungrier.
Yeah, cool.
That's 1 success on my
1
check.
success. So you start patrolling the perimeter of the freezer. It's dim. You can barely see through the fog and the dim hospital light. And then you feel the blood surging through your veins, and almost instinctually you know you can call upon it to defog your mind, to sharpen your senses. And then once you do, you hear something in your ear, a low electronic hum. And there, wedged up in the ceiling behind a metal shelf, almost out of view. You see it. There is no air vent here, but there is a hidden camera in the ceiling. The red LED in front of the lens indicates that it is functioning and even now recording your every movement.
Yeah, I'll just like turn to face, and just as I notice, I'll just go, "We're being watched."
You point out the camera. It is sore.
Yeah.
Swear to God, this better not be one of your YouTube videos.
This ain't my role.
It's just a prank, bro.
This isn't what I get involved in.
So what happens if we break that camera?
You can try to break it if you want.
I'm asking it and looking around at the others. What happens if we break that?
Well, the camera stops working usually.
Whoever's watching us doesn't get to see us anymore, regardless.
You know, that works for me.
I'll look around for other cameras in the room.
Yep. So you look around, and now that you know what you're looking for, you determine that there are 2 cameras in the room. One at the front, wedged in the ceiling just above the metal door, and the one at the back that Derek already pointed out. The 2 cameras together provide a view of the room where there would be no blind spots. Whoever's watching you can see you always.
I'm going to pick up one of the meat hooks and use it to smack down a camera.
Wait, hang on, before we smack it down, can I have a look to see if I can, like, use my technical know-how on it to see if I can see how far away they might be, if there's anything like that?
I'll put my meat hook down.
Well, you're just holding it ready to go while he looks at one. Please roll an investigation. Please roll an intelligence technology check for me.
There goes one die, unfortunately. That's less than ideal. 2 successes, but I got a 1 on my normal dice and a 1 on my hunger dice.
Ooh, okay. Well, it's still not a failure. It cancels out, leaves it with one success.
No, it doesn't leave it with any, does it? Because I got 2 1s and 2 successes. So.
Well, those 2 1s will cancel out 1, leaving you with 1 success. But the difficulty was 2. So this is what we call a bestial failure. This means that you failed because your hunger urges were clouding your mind, distracting you. And so as you reach up and grab the camera to examine it, to try to determine what make it is, something within you roars. And you just have this massive urge, this burst of anger. You have to get out of here. You have to sate your hunger. And so what you intended to do, just grab the camera, pull it down a bit so you can examine it, ends with you ripping the camera right off the ceiling, leaving wires dangling. And
okay, guess we're breaking them.
The camera falls to the ground and shatters into 100 pieces.
Might as well get the other one.
Oh, that's also possibly a way out, though. Cords have to lead through somewhere. You can't just go straight through metal.
Yeah.
Unless it's
Maybe.
Bluetooth?
Yes, it's Bluetooth, but
So-
no, it's wired.
Yeah, if it's wired, that means they have to have holes somewhere in here, at least a vantage point that we might be able to break through.
Yeah. You wanna take out the other camera? What we're doing?
Can I go and have a look at the other camera or not?
You can go and look at the other camera if you want to try the same roll again.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Just,
How badly could this end?
Maybe someone else look at the camera?
Oh,
Does
okay.
anyone else have any technical know?
I know a few things. Let me try. I
Well,
guess this is intelligence and technology.
Intelligence and technology.
If I get a chance to look at that one up.
I didn't take any technology. That's kind of funny.
I actually have decent technology.
Work of computers.
Neither
and I
did
didn't
I.
take it.
But yeah, good enough for 2.
If I get a chance to get over there, I've got 3. I'm not sure if I've got time to do that or not.
So you got 2 successes, yep. So you head over to the other camera at the back of the room, grab it and pull it down a little bit. You see it's connected to some wires that move up into a small hole about the size of your thumb that's drilled into the roof. You take a look at the camera and you recognize this as a model that doesn't have a built-in hard drive or any built-in storage, meaning that it's connected to and offering a feed. Yeah, to someone. You're either being streamed live or else the footage is being uploaded to an external server somewhere.
Security.
Can I disconnect the camera? Is it modular?
Yeah, you can just carefully disconnect it if you like. So you pull out all the cables, place the camera on the floor, and it's disconnected. Whoever's watching can see you no longer.
Alright, I'm gonna try and... Oh, sorry. Someone else had something they want to do?
No, go for it. I just
I'm gonna see if I can... Meat hook has a pointy end, right?
It does.
So I'm gonna try to use that and hook it into the hole where the camera used to be. I know it's only a small hole, but I'm gonna start it... Because I'm strong, right? So I'm gonna see if I can try to use that as a... smacking.
Like stick it in through the hole, try and pry the door open?
Yeah, like forcing it, literally.
Yeah.
Because that'll be the weakest part of the metal.
Yeah. So you look at the top of the door and you see a tiny hole where the camera used to be. The hole's slightly bigger than it should be due to the camera being violently ripped away. Thanks, Dusty. And so you grab a meat hook and wedge it into the hole and try to pull as hard as you can. I would like you to please make a strength and brawl or melee check.
I will take brawl because I have many dice in that. I succeeded with 4 successes. One of them was a 10. Oh, that doesn't matter. You need 2 10s. Well,
Yep.
4 regular successes.
4 regular successes. Very well.
Mm-hmm.
You insert the meat hook. The hole's just big enough for the end of it, and then you begin to lift it up. You feel it catch onto something on the other side, and then you lift, grunting with exertion until you feel snap. The meat hook snaps in half, leaving the end of it in the hole and the other half of it in your hand. But something appears to have given on the other side, and you see the metal door budge open about a centimetre.
Oh,
A
something.
tiny crack allowing you to see what's on the other side, and presumably all you have to do is now just push it open.
I will fireman kick the door down.
Yep.
Open.
So I'll ask you to make another strength brawl check, please.
This is
Okay.
Sparta.
What I get? I got 2 successes.
2 successes. You
I
rush
put a lot of points in strength and brawl.
You rush forwards, holding one arm in front of you like a battering ram as you run towards the door.
That's not a fireman kick. The fireman one's when you plant your foot down.
And then you just go boom. So you plant your left foot firmly on the ground and then lash out with your right foot, hitting the door. You hear a clang as the door budges fully and then begins to slowly open, revealing on the other side what appears to be some sort of kitchen, dimly lit, the only light being the ambient light leaking out from the freezer.
Well, door's open now.
So, I'm thinking we should all try to be very sneaky from this point on.
We may have already ruined that with the cameras and the smashing.
Yeah.
So is there
There's a
any...
difference between knowing where a wasp is in the room and hearing it. You know?
Yeah.
Watching it anyway, so
So is there anything anyone would like to do in the freezer before you exit?
I'm going to grab another meat hook.
Yeah, good idea. If you feel you need one.
how are we still feeling in that first?
Sorry, Enigma, what did you say?
I'm still feeling hunger and thirst.
Yeah, you're still feeling the hunger, and apparently this dead blood isn't doing anything to.
Okay, so I've got a sense that won't satisfy me anyways.
Yeah, so you're probably, your urge is to probably just leave the freezer and follow the scent of blood elsewhere and try to find something that will fulfill your hunger.
Yeah.
So we can use our disciplines, yeah?
Yep. So as a vampire, you instinctively know how to use these disciplines. Even if your characters don't know what they're doing, you know what to do. You instinctually know.
Okay, can I use my Auspex 1 premonition?
Yep. So I would
see if I can reveal a truth previously overlooked. Just
Yes.
seeing if there's anything left over.
All right. So I would. Does that require a rouse check? I don't think it does.
Cost free or 1 rouse check?
Okay. So I will ask you to make a rouse check, please.
Okay. How do I do that?
So please roll a d10. If it's 6 or above, your hunger stays the same. Otherwise, it is going to.
It's a 1.
A 1? Okay, so a 1 is a botch on a rouse check. A 1 increases your hunger by 2. So your hunger goes up to 5.
Oh,
Jesus, no.
Oh shit.
okay.
So I will now ask you to please roll your resolve plus your Auspex.
Okay. Just the 4 dice and that's it?
Just the 4 dice, yep. And you don't have to put hunger in this because this is, you're using a discipline.
Oh, okay. I rolled a 2, an 8, 8, and a 10.
Ooh, okay. So 3 successes. So as you step towards the open door of the freezer, feel something scratching away at your brain, desperately asking to be admitted into your mind, and you feel the blood surge as you close your eyes and focus on what you're seeing. You see 2 men standing in a kitchen, dimly lit with a single hanging light bulb. One of the men dressed in a form-fitting black suit, the curled cord of a headset disappearing down his collar. He's talking to another man, a man wearing an ill-fitting security guard uniform. The man in the suit says, "All you have to do is watch. We'll be back in the morning when they're asleep. They shouldn't get out, but if they do, you know the number to call. Will only be a block away." The vision ends.
Do I get like a sense of where I get that from? Like further up where we're headed out to?
Yep, so you focus on the room outside of the freezer, and even with the lights off, you recognize the same stove, the same array of pots and pans hanging on the wall. Whatever you just saw happened just outside the freezer.
I kind of like look at the group and I'm like, guys, there were people in here earlier. There should be someone still here watching us.
At least one, yeah.
At least one wearing a dodgy looking security outfit.
And how did you know that exactly?
I don't know. I just knew.
I think it's safe to assume that we've got some weird stuff going on with all of us.
Yeah.
So, as you all pile out of your frozen holding cell, find yourselves in a kitchen that is reasonably clean, featuring the type of equipment you'd expect in a high-end restaurant, and you think that's where you are. The contrast with the meat locker you just exited may give you pause. As your eyes look for an exit, you find 2. There's a set of double metal doors on the left that no doubt leads to the main room of the restaurant, and a side door on the right with a green emergency exit sign just above it.
But down.
Did your vision show anything else about what's behind these doors?
No. But you said that the camera was like closed circuit, right? So then that guy's got to be connected to the camera. Can we track it back to them? Follow the cords or something? I don't know how it works.
The cord was in the ceiling, right?
It was in the ceiling, but you could probably determine that it's not leading outside of the building, but...
We're going to find where he is within the building. I'm going to activate my weight of the feather, by the way.
Yes, your weight of the feather. Your celerity will serve you well.
No, not celerity, protean.
Oh yeah, that's right, it's protean,
Yeah.
That's right, yes.
That's the one where you can weigh what you want.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, I'm weightless and don't set off pressure plates, and you can't throw me or anything. So,
Yeah, that's right.
All
And
right.
you guys got like psychic powers and shit, and I just got big fugly teeth.
Yeah.
Justice.
And can I
Ripped a hole in the door.
can I activate my heightened senses?
You can, yep, your heightened sensors, it's a passive, you can just turn it on and on or off at any time, no rouse check needed.
Yep.
So what would you like to do?
Well,
That's it.
I'd like to go back in the freezer, grab the camera. I'm assuming it's portable.
Yep. Well, it's one of those cameras that looks like, it's got a little thing down the bottom like a suction cup that you can stick it to a wall or a roof or...
This might answer some questions later.
Well, there's no hard drive in there, though, so it's not going to answer much.
No, but
Yeah.
Cameras are
manufacturer,
still-
model number, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's going to have a serial number on it, and so you can...
But this is long-term shit. Let's think short-term.
Yeah, let's think short term.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to examine? Do you want to investigate the kitchen, or do you want to make your way to one of those two doors and just get out of Dodge?
If it's one of those
Doors,
I'm making my way towards the exit.
Yep.
I was just
but-
gonna say, if it's one of those doors, the double hanging ones, they always have windows on them, so you can
They do,
be able to
yes.
peek through.
And
I'm gonna take a quick peek.
Yep.
I think.
Be sneaky.
So I would like whoever is moving towards any of the doors to please make a wits awareness check, please, and because this is a skill check, it will have your hunger involved.
So was it
Yeah,
wits and?
Wits and awareness.
awareness.
Damn.
And there's no... Is there any garlic I can see?
Luckily,
Got one
the
success.
kitchen appears to have been in disuse for quite some time. There's a couple of cans of soup and stock on the shelves, but any fresh food has been removed. So you breathe a figurative sigh of relief, realizing there's no garlic.
Yeah.
I will pocket a knife.
You can take a knife if you want.
The dice have hated me.
Ooh.
I've managed to roll a total of 1 success with a botch, though. So, like, I got 2
Yep.
successes, 2 ones, and I'm just going to the door that's not the one with an exit sign.
Yep. So are any of those botches on hunger dice?
Oh, yeah, one was, yeah.
Okay. So that's a bestial failure. So Dusty,
Again!
you sniff the air, and somewhere on the air you smell the tang of fresh blood, and your eyes immediately widen. You must have it. And so, not even attempting to be careful, you just set off at a run across the kitchen, and
Crap.
you don't notice the couple of forks and spoons that are scattered on the tiles in front of the stove, and you run right over them. But thanks to your activated protean, you weigh so little that the ones you step on rock slightly and let out a little tinkle, but do not make a loud cacophony. And so you rush towards the door, the double doors, sniffing the blood on the air, and where your two companions are stopping to look through the window, you don't have time for this. You just follow the scent of blood and burst through the doors loudly, opening them and surprising whoever may be on the other side.
Roy Jenkins.
A guard seems to be patrolling the restaurant proper. Armed with a flashlight and a nightstick, the guard is wearing an ordinary uniform which seems to fit them badly. The look on their face suggests that they would probably like to be anywhere but here. Then they hear the sound of the double doors bursting open and whirl around, shining their flashlight in your face.
How bright is the flashlight?
Not bright enough to blind you, and Dusty, you're at 4 hunger, if I'm correct.
Okay, because being in ministry, I abhor bright light, so if it's not bright light, then I'm not recoiling from it.
Yes, yeah, this is just bright enough that as a member of the ministry, it is going to give you a penalty. So he flashes the light in your face, and you instinctually recoil.
Get him inside quick. Come back inside quick, I've got this.
Can I then try to entrance him?
You can, but first, you're at hunger 4, am I right?
Yeah.
And I believe Shay is at hunger 5.
Yes.
So Shay, as you see,
Are you the two with? Hang on. So who's at the door with me? Is it Shay and?
Shay's not there, but she's going to basically, as soon as you see the door burst open, you also detect this smell of fresh blood on the air, and so you drift over to the others just in time to see the security guard shine his light in Dusty's face. And then you both see him standing there. You see his veins pulsing in his neck. Pump, 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 pump. You're at hunger 4 and hunger 5 respectively, and so you're going to roll for hunger frenzy. Please make a willpower check. So just take your willpower and roll that amount of dice.
Can we just fail it and feed on him or not?
Oh, you can choose to give in if you want.
3 successes, 1 being a 10.
3 successes. And what are you doing, Dusty?
I'll give in and feed.
You're giving in. So Dusty doesn't even attempt to resist. Dusty just leaps forwards, leaping towards the security guard. While Shay, you have the chance to resist. You're going to hold back?
Yeah, I'll hold back.
So you hold back, raising your hand to your mouth, which falls open as you see Dusty leap towards this surprised security guard. The security guard has just enough time to scream and fumble for his nightstick. Dusty, I'd like you to please make a strength brawl check.
Am I able to once again try to stop him from killing this guy since I'm near?
You can try. You can also make a strength brawl check.
Okay.
Well, actually, I took a dice, but
Alright.
so are these both? I got 2 successes.
2 successes, yep.
Sorry, I have to roll my ones. My bad. Sorry. 1 sec. 1, 2, 3. And
Was 10, but
I rolled 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay.
I've got a lot of points in these things.
110 doesn't matter though, does it? It needs to be
110 doesn't matter. So as you see Dusty leap towards this one, and also, because you would have had a 1 dice penalty. So, because he's blinded by the light, you have just enough time to reach forwards, wrap your arms around him to stop him leaping on the man, and yes, Hope?
Can I get over there?
You can get over there.
I stare the guard in the eyes and say, you should probably forget about this.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. So Dusty so you step forwards and the guard's like fumbling for his nightstick and the light's shaking in his hand. You just step forwards, raise a hand and say, you should probably forget about this. And you see his eyes glaze over. And he blinks a couple times, and he just shrugs, turns around, and walks back into the restaurant proper, making his way through the empty tables and chairs. Meanwhile, Dusty is still in the midst of hunger frenzy, and if he can't drink from the security guard, he's going to drink from the closest thing present. So he bares his fangs and sinks them into Desmond's skin, drinking deep of Desmond. Desmond, you take 1 point of aggravated damage. That means you put a cross through one of your health squares. Which I don't think you can actually do on the character sheet, so...
You can...
So just make note of the fact that you have one aggravated damage. And then... How much hunger? You're at 3 hunger?
That's correct.
So he drinks... Drinking as much blood as he can. You're at 3 hunger, you go up to 5 hunger, and he goes down to 2.
Oh.
As he takes 2 hunger slakes 2 hunger from you.
Future reference, so, like, when I wanted to stop him, I didn't want to grab him and stuff.
Oh,
Should I clarify that beforehand?
Yes, please, because I thought that was how you were, like, rushing forwards and grabbing him.
I was just going to push him out of the way from him, but...
Oh, he still would have leaped on you in that case, but you can get a roll to determine if he actually gets to bite you.
Yeah, because I didn't really want to grab the ravenous vampire per se.
Ah, alright, so go ahead.
It's a little late now, but...
Well, no, you can make a strength brawl check, and I'll get him to make one too.
Okay. But I have to make sure I really clarify that stuff,
yes.
Or you'll just kind of run with...
You need 2 successes. Well, I got 2 successes, so...
Yep, 2 successes.
So, strength brawl... that would be 4 successes.
4 successes. So he bares his fangs and leaps at you, and you grapple with him for a moment, pushing him away. Yep. Pushing him away, and then he just turns around and leaps upon the next person he sees, which is Derek.
Oh god!
Sure.
So Derek, go ahead and make a strength brawl check.
Do I make another one then?
Yep, make another one.
What's this, athletics brawl?
Yeah, strength brawl.
Strength brawl. 4...
What, help me! Get this guy!
Oh god, it's getting dark in here. It's only 2 successes.
2 successes. How did we go, Dusty?
I got 2.
2, okay, so you meet it, so you beat it. So Dusty leaps upon Derek, who's completely taken by surprise, and Desmond just steps back, his mouth hanging open. He's freaking out, doesn't know what to do. He thought he was stopping Dusty, but Dusty just wants to feed, so he sinks his fangs into Derek. And Dusty, as you drink upon him, his blood flows down your throat, and it is the most exquisite thing you've ever tasted. It is better than the most addictive drug you could have had as a mortal. It is better than orgasm. It is the greatest thing you've ever experienced. And you drink and drink until you can drink no more, and you feel your senses returning. And you realize what you've done. You look up at Derek and pull yourself away from him. Dusty, your hunger goes down to 3, and Derek, yours goes up to 5 as he slakes his hunger with whatever blood you have in you at the time.
There's only one against Desmond, not 2 like the other one.
Yeah, no. So you just your hunger. Oh, you're up to 4, so you go down to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Derek goes up to 5 because you took 2 from him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw him off Derek, but it's already done. So. Yeah.
You wouldn't have had time.
It's too late to stop it, but like I'm gonna.
But his frenzy appears to be over.
Hell is wrong with you?
As you say this, from the other side of the open doors, you hear the guard whistling as he continues his patrol, and you realize that if you didn't stop him, it probably would have been the guard rather than Derek. Perhaps you saved someone's life.
Well, that was my intent. So I feel bad for Derek. Sorry, Derek. I'm gonna go check on Derek.
I take a point of damage or something for that, don't I?
Yeah, you take 1 point of aggravated damage, so please make a note of that.
Jesus Christ, are you okay? Jack, who's drained of a lot of blood.
Yeah. Does it like? No, we can still actually like feel pain.
Yeah,
can't we?
you can still feel pain. So there's a big bite mark on your shoulder, and it's throbbing with pain. And perhaps you look a little bit more pale, but aside from that, you don't appear to be too worse for wear. There is still enough blood circulating through your body to keep you functioning.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that hurt. I seem to still be, I guess I can't say alive.
Let's go out that other door before we turn that guy into barbecue.
Good idea.
So where's the other guy at the moment?
He's just out patrolling in the restaurant area.
He's been like mind powered, so he's not really paying attention.
He's been asked to forget what he
I
saw.
don't know how well this works, so we might want to get out of here before he gets back to normal.
But
He
what if
might
he
have.
knows? Yeah, I think we have the same train of thought. What if he knows something?
Yeah, he has the information to contact the people that put us here.
If
Yeah.
you wanna
I know
sneak
that.
up on it- okay, if you want to sneak up on him and try to jump him, go for it.
Or we
Oh,
can just
okay.
talk.
I'm inclined to just go up to him and talk to him.
You are not going anywhere near him.
I'll go talk.
I can be quite
Okay.
convincing.
Yeah, I'm like barring Dusty's like access to
Yeah.
the guards.
So
I'm
the,
I mean, I could do it, but I don't.
You could do it. I'm just preventing Dusty, literally. Just that after that whole incident,
I'm
I'm
looking
stopping
for a
Dusty.
counter. Let me go and talk to him and find out this information. I'm feeling
Charming was
better.
just biting everyone.
Yes, it is finding out this
I
information
give you
before or
my
after you
word,
drink
I
all this
won't
blood.
bite him.
If you want to try that, I'll tell you what. If you want to try this, I'll go with you, and if it goes bad, I'll try to make him forget again.
Well, I can do that too. So
You can do that too? Okay, awesome. Cool.
You go do it. I'll keep.
Sounds like three of us
I'll
can.
keep a look on Dusty.
so
it's a good power.
Okay. Hang on. Has anyone got entrancement though to talk to him?
entrancement, the Toreador probably has it.
I have ore.
Key of Ore, that'll help.
That'll
Yeah.
do.
I went all the way down to entrancement. That's all.
Ah, yes, you've got even better presence.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't have presence, but I do have mesmerize.
Yeah, that'll work too. You can just straight up ask him to give you the information.
I can just tell him to tell us stuff.
Yeah, that's what entrancement does. So yeah. But if someone else wants to, if I'm being held away,
So who's going to go out and talk to him? So Hope
I'd like
and
to. I'd like to, but I don't think I'm allowed to.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop. My character is officially untrusting of Dusty.
yeah, Desmond is
at this
just
moment.
Desmond just has Dusty pressed against the wall in the kitchen. You're just standing over him.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to entrance Desmond then.
There you go.
Yeah, you can do
You're
that.
trying to use magic on me.
Yep.
So you're going to entrance him to let you go out and talk to the guy.
Yeah.
All right. So we will. Let me just get find out what you have to roll. So that is presence.
It's a rouse check.
Yep, that's one rouse check. You're at hunger 2, so go ahead.
Oh,
That's fine. I pass that. And then it's my charisma plus presence versus composure plus wits.
Yep. So
Okay.
go ahead. I need you to
else?
roll your charisma plus presence, and Desmond can roll his composure plus wits.
I only got 2 successes.
Well, fuck me, I only got one.
Yeah, Desmond is steadfast. He's just standing there, and he's.
Do I know you just tried to do that?
You know he's
Like a
tried to
thing?
do something. Like, you met his eye momentarily, and you felt like, for a brief moment, that, hey, maybe now that he's no longer freaking out, maybe you can turn your back on him. But then you, straight away, you looked away and realised, no, you're going to stand here, you're not going to look at him, and you're not going to let him pass.
I had 7 dice and then I got 1 success.
Yeah, I had 6 dice. I put like almost my highest stat is my
Wits or composure.
composure.
Yeah.
Of what my job is.
So meanwhile, the
So-
3 women step out of the doors into the restaurant proper. And Shay, because of your fame, as you step out into the restaurant and look at the open room, the polished wooden floorboards and the empty tables scattered around, the fine tapestries hanging on the walls, you recognise where you are. You recognise that you are in a restaurant known as the Enchanted. It is a relatively hip spot in the middle of South Melbourne, and it's been inexplicably closed for the last 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
You see the guard still walking around whistling. He just passes by the shuttered entrance to the restaurant, passes by the wooden podium where the maitre d' would accept customers, and then as he turns and faces you, he sees the 3 of you standing there in the middle of the restaurant area, and he raises his flashlight, looks at you, his eyes go wide as if he hasn't seen you before, his left hand fumbles for his nightstick, and then he just says, how'd you get out? How'd you get out? You weren't supposed to get out.
I'm gonna try and use my oar.
Yep. So you use your oar, so that will give you an extra bonus to any persuade checks you do equal to your presence.
Yes.
So you step forwards out into the flashlight, allowing it to fully illuminate you. You see the flashlight stop shaking as he seems to calm. And then, not moving, he says, look, I don't want to lose this job. I need the money, right? So just either get back in the freezer or just get out of here or whatever it is you're going to do.
Well, I mean, we're happy to leave, but are you able to give me your phone first? I really need to make a call.
Please make a charisma persuasion check, and you may add your presence as extra dice.
Okay.
And remember to replace with 5 hunger dice as well.
Okay. So charisma, persuasion.
And, yep, because charisma, persuasion, and presence.
Take it 1 moment.
Sorry, just out of the game. What are Hope's pronouns?
Oh, you're asking?
Yeah.
She, they.
She, they. Okay.
Okay, so I have
Or Peter, whichever.
Okay.
I have 7 dice to roll,
Ooh, yep. And 5 of them are hunger dice.
and 5 of them are hunger dice. So I'll roll the 5 hunger dice first.
Yep.
Should have been standing over there.
Okay, I rolled 4 successes and one's a 10,
Yep.
and the other one's a 3. So
That's fine.
okay.
Now roll your 2 extra dice. Hope one of them's not a 10.
A 1 and a 4.
1 and a 4. It's okay. You're fine. You feel the hunger eating away at you, and as you talk to him, you can just see the vein in his neck still pulsating. Thump, 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 and you're almost overtaken, but you shut your eyes, grit your teeth, and will the hunger to stay its course. And you speak in the most sweet, innocent voice possible. Can I please have your phone? And the man looks at you, and you see his face wrinkle up as he has the obvious thought in his head that he shouldn't be just handing his phone to random people. But then he throws logic out the window and he nods and he goes, sure, here. And he reaches into his pocket and hands you a smartphone, and it's already unlocked.
Okay, awesome. I kind of look over my shoulder and be like, do you want to make him forget this?
I glance over at Sylvia to see if she wants to do the honors.
I can't do anything like that.
Oh,
You should probably forget this.
Put
again.
Sylvia
Yeah.
on the spot for no reason.
you are a little sombra though, so
We could use nice words instead of any weird magical powers.
do you just
We could do that.
Well,
So-
before I do, I ask, do you know who those guys were? Why they put us back there anyway?
He looks at you and he says, I don't know, with the government or something, said they're with some task force, something or other. Look, all they said was that they had bad people locked up in the freezer and that all I had to do was watch over them for the night. Apparently they've been bringing people here on and off. This is my first night here. Look, was good pay.
This is all
Said they said if they come back tomorrow and I'm still here and you guys are still locked up, it was going to be 500 in the can for me.
All right.
Do I have like cash on me? Can I give him some money?
If you want. Do you have any resources background?
I don't think so.
If you don't, then you can probably open up your purse and take like a 20 out or something.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
What are you doing? What? Why are you...
But he said he wanted money, right?
He needed money, that's why he's here. Taking this very obviously dodgy job.
All right. Anyone else have any questions for the nice guy who's about to forget stuff?
For,
Who was the guy you were talking to earlier? Do you know his
I'm
name?
sure I do, but
forget, he says.
You can yell the questions, Dusty. You're just not going
Yeah.
near him.
Yeah. Who was that guy you were talking to?
Earlier in the kitchen.
He wrinkles up his eyebrows. He says, "How could you have heard?" Says that was. Says I didn't know his real name. He said it's some sort of code name or something. Blue Serpent. Said it was for reasons of operational security, top secret, sort of spy shit.
I look at the other guy, the other girls that are with me, and I'm just like, that's just so pretentious.
It sounds kind of dumb.
That's so
right.
stupid.
Okay, we done?
I think we're done.
Hey, wait,
Okay,
what's
please.
your name, friend?
Eric, he says.
Nice to meet you, Eric. Alright, Hope, go ahead.
Just forget all about this. It's better for your blood pressure.
Wait, what are you going to? And then you speak the words. You see his eyes glaze over once again. He blinks.
And
He
I'll
looks.
start walking back to the kitchen.
He blinks at you, and seeing Sylvia and Shay still standing there, he just says, "I'm sorry, ladies. The restaurant's closed. You'll have to come back tomorrow." And then he just turns around and starts whistling again, absent-mindedly, as he continues his patrol. And then you make your way back to the kitchen.
Shut the door. Look,
Shut the door,
Okay.
pull it shut behind you.
we ready to go?
You all
That's probably a good idea.
You all hear a noise behind you as you enter the kitchen. Outlined against the light of the kitchen, you see the silhouette of a very tall man with a powerful build. As he steps into the light through the exit door, you see that he wears a well-cut modern suit, and then he stands calm and confident. But he also looks as surprised to see you as you are to see him. He smiles, allowing you to see his fangs. He's like you. "Huh. Seems to be my lucky night," he says, seeing the six of you assembled in the small kitchen. "I'm Marcus Dean, and I'm happy to meet you. Look,
Hi?
Continue.
Did
Why is
us
that?
in there?
we should leave," he says. "My driver will arrive in a few minutes. Since the Second Inquisition could get here at any moment now, I need to know what you know. What do you remember?" As he asks this question, your mind tries to unlock your memories. Memories between your mortal, normal life and this rude awakening you just had before this nightmare of death and blood swept everything away.
Okay, do we have to roll something for that, or?
Nope. Desmond, what's the last thing you remember?
I was Well, I was meeting someone I'd helped before. They'd heard that I was sick, so they could help me. I just assumed that, it was like a spiritual thing or something, so I went to meet them. I don't remember much more than that. Went to meet them, and then everything went black.
You remember meeting your old friend. Old friend, Ronald, we'll call him.
It's like a homeless guy. I'd helped him before.
Homeless guy who you'd helped before. Someone who looked up to you, and you remember him sitting you down in his lounge room. You helped him get to his feet, helped him find a new place to live, helped him rebuild his life, and the two of you became kindred spirits, both of you suffering from the same terminal disease. Him apparently more advanced than yours, yet he still seemed as sprite and lively as you, even though by all rights he should have been dead months ago. Remember him seating you down, looking into your eyes and saying, You are too good to leave this world. You need to stay. You need to keep helping people. And then just before everything goes black, you remember the sound of breaking glass, the sound of crashing wood as armed police officers burst into the room, their guns drawn.
Holy fuck.
Derek, what's the last thing you remember?
I think something along the lines of, a friend managed to convince me to go to I actually call it like a seminar. Convinced me to go to a seminar, I just sat through it and sort of stuck through it, and then the two of us heading back. And that's when it starts to fade.
Seminar on the occult, as you've always had an interest in the occult and the mystical. And you appeared to have such a keen interest in the seminar that your friend said to you afterwards, as you walked down the dark streets through the CBD together, he looked at you and promised that he could show you things you would never imagine. Dusty, what's the last thing you remember?
Out somewhere and running into some fiends. Or a fiend.
You remember being invited out for dinner at an upscale restaurant in northern Melbourne, a place you never would go to normally, as even with your YouTube career, you tend to avoid public places lest people recognize you. And yet this person said that they had a very important proposition for you. You met them, they were dressed entirely in a white suit, a strange ankh necklace, talisman around their neck. As you consumed your meal, you remember now that it was strange. You could swear you never saw them actually order something. You remember what the conversation was about, at least some of it. The specifics are lost to you, but you remember the last thing that this man said over the course of your meal. He said, you have a way with people. You have a way of controlling the narrative, and that's what we need. The ministry will make use of you. Sylvia, what's the last thing you remember?
I remember it was a late night on the university campus, and I was heading back to my apartment when I passed by the college chapel, and I saw one of the ministers there, I think, and he said he wanted to talk to me, and he led me inside.
Led you inside, Father Patrick, sat you down on one of the pews. Then he looked into your eyes and he said, you have done well, Sylvia. You have passed my tests. And I will grant you God's gift. Shay, what's the last thing you remember?
I had a meeting for a private client who wanted me to be commissioning something. And I had my studio set up and ready to go. I had like sketchbooks ready, everything ready.
You remember them coming into your studio, a strange time to meet a client, 9:30 p.m. Usually you do this thing during the day. You don't remember much of the conversation. Again, the specifics are lost to you, but you remember the client, a cultured man in his early 50s, wearing an immaculate tuxedo. You remember him strolling around your studio, looking at your works in progress, smiling and extolling the virtues of each and every one, and then turning towards you, opening his arms wide and saying, "You are a diamond that must sparkle eternally." And so you recount these things to the strange man, to Marcus. He listens intently, nods as you tell him your stories. And then he lowers his voice. He clearly doesn't want to be overheard. He says, "Fresh from the embrace, I guess. Look, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't expecting to find anyone here. Heard some rumours about Second Inquisition having a safe house on my turf. Didn't realise it was one of their population control facilities. Second Inquisition is bad news for all of us kindred. If you've ever heard of the original Inquisition, picture that, but with the support of modern governments and using state-of-the-art technology and weaponry to hunt us down. They're out to destroy every last one of us. But they also want to study us, which is why I assume they don't always kill us immediately. That's why they left you here, to collect you later, to study you before they destroy you. So they're probably either nearby or on their way to check on you right now. So, if you'd rather stay out of their hands, follow me." He guides
the camera.
You show him, hold out the camera, and he looks at it and he nods and he says, "Yeah, they were watching over you. Clearly some sort of sick experiment. Get a bunch of fledglings, stick them in a room, watch them wake up, see how they feed. They're trying to learn about us, and they're fumbling in the dark."
Well, seems that staying here would be the worst option than following the strange men into a car.
Hey,
Yeah.
some of us are really hungry. Can you get some food lined up before they kill people? If we go with you, will you do that?
"Indeed," says Marcus. I was expecting to get in here, confirm that it was an Inquisition safe house, and get out again. Didn't know I'd be babysitting 6 fledglings. But, look, we'll sort it out," he says. He gestures for you to follow him. "Let's not stay here. Shit's gonna hit the fan."
Alright, I'll follow him out.
I'm going with you because you're giving me a choice. The other guys didn't. I like this better.
He guides you through the kitchen to the back door of the restaurant and ushers you into the alleyway behind the building. As you step out into the
Before
alley.
we go, can I just go through and see if I can find a contact details from the
Yeah,
police
she's going
on the
to
phone?
flip through the phone as he leads you out.
I want to forward the contact information to my phone and then just leave poor Eric's phone somewhere as if he's just accidentally put it down.
Smart.
So you go to flip through his contacts, and here's where you come to the first difficulty. As you place your dead finger on the screen and go to swipe, nothing happens. You no longer give off body heat. Your body no longer produces moisture. Marcus sees you trying feebly, looks over his shoulder and he says, "Yeah, you'll have to get used to that. Could give yourself the blush of life, but You look really hungry. I wouldn't do that right now if I were you. And so I will explain that at any point, a vampire can do a rouse check to give themselves the blush of life. This causes colour to return to their skin, causes their bodily functions to run once again, and this would allow you to use the phone. But you're at hunger 5. If you fail that hunger check, you will fall into torpor, as you'll have run out of blood.
Okay.
He says, ditch it or keep it with you. Depends how important you think it is. He says, after you've fed, I can show you how to get the old hookups working again.
Kind of feel bad that Eric's losing his phone, but I'll take it with me.
You shrug.
I mean, Eric was looking after corpses as far as he knew.
Yeah, he was.
Kind of brought this on himself to a degree.
Yeah, but, you know, like, it's so hard to get your photos back, and he could have kids, and, like, you know, it's all so important, and if he hasn't backed it up onto the cloud...
Not to
I run back into the meat locker, tear off a hunk of beef.
As you slide his phone into your handbag, you hope he has the cloud, and you feel a little bit bad, but this could mean the matter between life. This could mean the difference.
Like, breathe on our hands, like.
But you don't breathe when you go. No breath comes out.
I come back with a gobbet of meat.
Yeah, you don't have any breath. When you breathe, nothing comes out.
You don't have saliva anymore.
Nope. You have to. The rush of the blush of life handles all of that. And so, as you step out into the alleyway.
Okay.
Into the narrow, cold space between 2 blank brick walls, the one on your right covered with colourful graffiti, a scene depicting a tall man in a white robe, perhaps Jesus Christ, holding out his hand to a huddled mass in the darkness beneath him, fighting, jostling amongst themselves for salvation. Marcus walks ahead. He wastes no time, reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out a cigarette, lights it, and as he lights it, you see some colour return to his face, takes a drag on the cigarette, and then stops halfway down the alleyway, looks over his shoulder at you, and he says, "We don't have a lot of time. Inquisition could be here any moment, but I want you to get some facts about what has happened to you. You have been embraced. That's what we call it when you become one of us. I don't know when it happened or why, but after your embrace, you were captured by the Second Inquisition. I'm assuming they were keeping you alive to interrogate you later, or some kind of sick experiment." He narrows his eyes, looks at you each in turn. "As of this night, you are one of us, a kindred. Your life is over, and the rest of eternity awaits, if you play your cards right." He smiles. And with that, I think we'll end the session there.
Nobody died.
We saved Eric.
We saved Eric.
Yes. You saved Eric. Not gonna lie, I was expecting him to die, so I'm glad he didn't.
I didn't do anything to save Eric.
Oh yeah, no, you did it.
What are you talking about?
I look super heroic on those security cameras, I just realised. Yay me.
Yeah, well, hopefully that will mean something. Second Inquisition probably won't care, though.
Probably not, no.
But that was the first of our session, and we didn't get to the time skip. It's probably going to be another next session. We'll get through the rest of this first story, then we'll do the time skip, and then I'll explain what touchstones and convictions and all that is, and predator types.
And predator types.
Yes, because those all come into play during the time skip. But you got a taste for the world. You got out of the room you were trapped in, had a frenzy. Next session we'll go over feeding and blood resonances and managing your hunger and stuff like that. But we got to roll some dice, we got some role playing, and you guys nailed it, I think. So I'm glad that session went well. I hope you enjoyed your time. This was New Blood Part 1, Cold of Death, the first episode of War for the Second City, a Vampire the Masquerade actual play podcast presented by DM Fiat. With me, Dale, as storyteller, Lost Demiurge as Hope, H-Quen as Sylvia, Enigma as the Clear Dusty, Paradox Mimic as Derek, Mr. Dadlin as Desmond, and Shay Luck as Dahlia. Music was created by Kevin MacLeod and is used with permission. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are the registered trademarks and property of White Wolf Entertainment and Paradox Game Studios.